Public Works and Infrastructure Minister Patricia de Lille on Sunday said in some cases payouts would be possible, but the courts would have the final decision on that. The minister joins us now to unpack the Expropriation Bill 2020. A very good afternoon to you, Minister, and thank you for your time today. Now, one of the questions that has been posed as far as the bill is concerned is that how does that fit into land restitution and that process?
Well, the overall land reform program for government includes land distribution, restitution of land, land tenure, and expropriation. Expropriation is but one method of acquisition. And government's decision to speed up land reform, to use all of the mechanism that we need to do, to achieve that. So the bill that we are dealing with now, we are replacing the 1975 Act on Expropriation. Expropriation has been around for many, many years. In our own constitution, expropriation is allowed on condition that the compensation is just and equitable, and in some instances no compensation. But the bill does not prescribe no compensation. First of all, we will try and get an agreement with the landowner, failing which then we can turn to court for the court to fix it. But currently, as it stands, the president, at least 7 national ministers, all the premiers of all 9 provinces, all the municipalities have got rights to expropriate. What we are doing with this bill is that we are bringing a general law of application that all of us must use to ensure that it's consistent with the Constitution. It describes where and how you must do expropriation. So it's really a progress that we are making after the land panel established by President in 2019. They have also recommended that the 1975 Act be replaced. And this is what we are doing now.
And how are you going to find synergy with Section 25 of the Constitution, which basically supports and protects the rights of those who acquired land during the apartheid era?
Section 25 makes provision for expropriation. And we have drafted this bill to be in line with the Constitution as it is now. The Chief State Law Advisor has certified the bill to be constitutional, and this must not be confused with the process that's currently taking place in Parliament. Parliament is busy with a process whereby they are looking at amending Section 25 of the Constitution. We are saying implicit in Section 25 as it is now, the right to expropriate is enshrined in the Constitution. The bill and the general law of application will just spell out how and when it can be done.
You point out places, Minister de Lille, where no compensation will be applied. What are those circumstances where there could be no compensation at all?
Well, the bill certifies or proposes 3 instances where expropriation can take place, not just no compensation. It is where a property is unused and it poses a security threat. It's not safe for neighboring communities. Also, where land is just lying fallen and it's not being used by the owner. And then the third one, of course, is that when government need land for the purposes of the public interest, but the bill also makes sure that there's a balance between the need of public interest and the rights of the owner. So the conditions are clearly spelled out under which you can do expropriation, When it comes to the compensation for the land, then of course there will be negotiations. But failure to reach an agreement, then in that case it will go to the courts to fix it.
There's a statement that you made, Minister, that the expropriation bill is not, quote-unquote, a silver bullet. What do you mean by that?
Yes. I mean, it's not a silver bullet because land reform includes many facets. And land acquisition through expropriation is but one methodology. Like I said, land restitution, there are still a few land claims outstanding. We must speed up that. Land distribution. The Minister of Land and Agriculture just last week released over 700,000 hectares of land for agricultural purposes. Government also have got a land donation policy, and many people want to donate land to government. So it's an all-encompassed land reform program and not the one or the other. We will use expropriation as we are allowed for in the Constitution only when it's in the interest of the public, where government needs to build a dam or a power station. So it's specific instances where expropriation will apply. But remember, we are also dealing with the spatial legacy of apartheid. Our cities are predominantly still the same. Our cities is not integrated. And government can expropriate land to allow for integration of cities, but government can also use government's own land for that purpose. So land reform is an all-encompass project, and that the Interministerial Committee led by the Deputy President Mabuza, we are looking at all the instances where we now need to speed up land reform, and expropriation is just about one of them.
Minister, when we talk about the percentage of land that is owned by either the state or perhaps that's owned by the private sector and businesses, what type of percentage are we talking about?
Well, I will speak under correction now, but that figures is with the Minister of Land Affairs, Toka Dadisa. But we know that in terms of ownership, the ownership is still skewed, and most of the land is owned and controlled by whites. A lot of land is also in the possession of churches, in the possession of banks. So there are a number of different owners that are currently in possession of the land. And to bring about equity within the system, as part of land reform, we must use all the methods at our disposal, including expropriation, to bring about equality.
All right, thank you very much, Minister, for your time this afternoon on the expropriation bill. South Africans are invited as well to comment on that, as it is being deliberated as well by Parliament. It's Minister Patricia de Lille there. Thank you very much for your time.